if you walked around your life and no matter who thought what about what, you were okay? What if you walked around your life and no matter who you ran into or who you thought had a better body than you or caught your person's eye better than you did or was creating out in the world better than you? What if none of that affected you? What if you could be in front of the same kind of things that used to set you off, make you feel bad, send you into a bout of insecurity, make you angry, make you sad, and all of that charge was gone? What would your life be like? One of the things I love about doing classes from something that I'm determined to change is that you get to reap the benefits of my aggressive, obsessive nature to find whatever tools are going to create the change. This morning I was in the reference materials, and in Access Consciousness material, when you search a digital copy for a word, it's pretty rewarding. I popped in the word enough. And enough is a word that can be used a lot of different ways. There's never having enough money. There's wanting to be enough. So it can be used a lot of different ways. And when you search in the reference materials, it pops up a lot of different things. There's a person that I really love who is persistently putting out social media content that is trying to reassure herself that she's enough. And the backstory to that is she's not only enough, but she's brilliant. She's incredibly artistic. She's incredibly considerate. She's incredibly thoughtful. She's probably one of the best at what it is that she arts out in the world. She's hilarious. She's a great storyteller. Like, she has some qualities about her, or attributes or capacities or abilities that are really category of one. Like, nobody else can even compare to the way that she arts. And yet the only thing she sees about herself are the things where she falls short. I happen to know that sometimes her house is pretty messy. She's come through a huge body transformation. She has had shitty parents, right? There's things that she's done in her personal life that she's never really said out loud on social media that she's not proud of. So there's things in her life that she tries to hide, like closets that she tries, shoves everything into and tries to keep the doors shut on, that still affect her. And she tries to overcome that by being proud of herself, by trying to almost force a feeling about herself that isn't there. And that's always really struck me. And I guess secondary to that was the thought that I was really glad that that wasn't true for me. I would say that I am strong in admitting or talking about when I find something and using that for content and sharing that with you guys. There's some strengths there for sure. But I've been trying to feel good about me when I don't feel good about me. And knowing that I'm doing it and seeing it the whole time, but then not really talking about it, and then that charge will go away. You know how when you don't feel good about something, it's kind of temporary, and then it changes, the energy moves, and it moves on into peaceful everyday life, and then that thing will show up again, and then you don't feel good again. And we call that a trigger. And I've been doing all kinds of different things over the years to render myself trigger free. But recently, as recent as this past weekend, it hit me in a different way. And it came through the conversation that I talked about on a previous show, where out of my mouth burst, "I'm just trying to be good enough for you." And in letting that sink in and staying with the energy of that and allowing all the awareness that came with that thing that burst out of my mouth, I realized that and then the bedrock of presumption underneath it were the source of all moments where I didn't feel good about me. And it was that I'm just not enough. Nothing I can ever do is enough. There's so many things there that need attention. Nothing I ever do is enough. Boy, that in and of itself assumes that I can do something that is enough. What I'm doing is in regards to another person. And that other person, of course, we all know is the mirror of what I'm doing and whether or not it's enough. And if that other person is responding poorly, then that, of course, is proof that I'm not doing enough. Doing has nothing to do with being. That whole doing statement shows that I've not even considered being, nor has anybody else. That needs attention. I'm just trying to be enough. Trying. Trying is not doing. Trying is an indicator that it will never succeed, actually, because you can't try to stand up. You either stand up or you don't. So trying right there, I'm just trying to be good enough for you, is an indicator that I've already failed. I know I've already failed. I'm still trying because of blah, 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 blah. But we all know this is never going to work. That needs attention. I'm trying to be good enough for you. The assumption underneath is that I'm not. Because if I have to try to be it, then we know I'm not good enough for you. That needs attention. And if you just put attention on all those things and really look at them, you have to sit with those and kind of go, am I going to, for once and for all, ask if any of these are actually true? Number one, am I going to go find out for real this time if this big presumption that I've been functioning as if it's reality, this thing that I've been doing, am I going to actually look and see if it's true? Now, is there any other possibility that I could choose to function from that's beyond this? That actually just leaves the conversation of good enough or not good enough behind. And even just since acknowledging all of this that I've now told you probably 2 times, I have so much more peace in my world. You can't see it, but right over here is a keyboard. And I've been playing on it with different sound equipment to try to give you and me great sound when I use it. And we're getting there. I'm learning things. Even just 4 days ago, I would start to play with something that I actually do have a lot of pleasure about, and then almost immediately go into stress. There's a big learning curve when you're being your own sound person. Over here is an audio interface. We've got cables, we've got computers, we've got a lot of technology that really, this is what people go to school for pro sound. But when you want to create content of stuff that you want to sound and look good, you've got to teach yourself light videography, light sound technician stuff. You've got to be a good sound editor. I mean, really, you have to go to school for movies. So I'm teaching myself this stuff, and the learning curve is steep. You have to go into every single thing that's not working and go learn it on your own. And you have to Google the problem and find the video. And so it's very time consuming. And I have in the past not had a lot of patience for this because I should know it, because I should be better than this. I'm not enough, I should be enough, I'm not enough. And so I would instantaneously go into frustration around myself because of this. And this is the thing that the being not enough creates, is constant frustration about what it is that you can't seem to get together. I recently did a 30-day coach setup program. It's awesome. I love empowering people to get their shit out in the world. One of the ladies that came to participate is very brilliant and has a lot of ease with certain elements of putting herself out there, but doesn't have a lot of ease with technology. And so everything that has to do with technology that she needed to set up to be able to run her business online was this huge, hairy thing. And I kept watching her struggle, and a part of what I realized was that's what happens when you start to up-level your life or learn things that you don't know, is you start to learn things you don't know. And then you're faced almost immediately with your enoughness, or what you believe is your not enoughness. And so as you keep trying to do things that should be simple from your point of view, or are simple for other people, and they're not simple for you, then your not enoughness keeps flapping back up in your face. And so you stop doing things because of the sensation of being slapped with your not enoughness constantly. Like, you just stop. Because who likes to feel slapped with a big fishtail of not enoughness all the time? The thing is that when you stop, what you stop creating is your life. You want to do this thing. You want to be great at this thing. You're now being faced with where you aren't great yet because there's stuff you don't know, and maybe stuff that's not that easy for you. And you are facing a crossroads of either up-leveling your skills in a way that it's going to take for you. Maybe it's going to take a tutor. Maybe it's going to take extra time. Maybe for you, this thing is a thing. And so you're either going to do this, or you're going to go down this road of not doing the thing. And that's kind of our whole life all the time. We're either going to get greater, or we're going to not. And so as I was sitting with myself on the weekend, looking at this thing that had finally emerged, I'm seeing, I just got really determined. I have felt not enough or less than my entire existence. And I really get that this is a common humanoid problem. Access consciousness is such a gift. And one of the ways that it's gifted me is in the explanation or the storytelling of who we've been as infinite beings, where we've come from. One of the things that we're exposed to is the possibility that for lifetimes, we've been implanted with this idea that who we are as beings is fundamentally responsible for the destruction of the worlds. And I can't remember one time in my existence on this planet so far, a moment where I didn't feel wrong. And so all the tools of access consciousness are to navigate that. One of the tools that I was introduced to right away was like, well, is any of that sensation of wrongness even yours? So who does this belong to? That's a massive, massive gift. If you need more of that, go to infinitebeingschool.com. Another tool is, at some point in your existence as an infinite being, where you always have been and you always will be, did you buy the idea that you are just innately flawed? I mean, for me, it was a yes. I'm just flawed. We all know that, right? Presumptive reality. And I think for the first time in my lifetime, this time, excuse me, I'm really determined that this just isn't the place that I keep living from. I just don't want to keep living from there. There is something way more fun than that, and it's called me. I'm fun. I'm fun. But I give up fun in favor of pain all the time. That's fun to a degree, but not the kind of fun that I can be. And I give up fun when I believe I'm not enough and I'm never going to be enough, and I just fight that reality that I've accepted. Can you see all the different layers of that bullshit? I fight the reality I've accepted. Do you know what reality even is? It's a distraction. It's literally an implanted distraction. There's no such thing as a reality. Could an infinite being have a reality or something else? They could choose realities if they'd try them on like clothing and give it up the next day and try something else on, just like hair. You know, they'd get their hair cut the next day, new reality. That's what you and I have available to us to choose. So consider this your warm invitation to having a different possibility with walking through the world being yourself and loving that enoughness. 3 calls with me starting tomorrow.